Welcome back to the Current Electric High School Basketball Boys State Championship Preview Show presented by Cannon and Dunphy. I'm Mike McGivern alongside my co-host Paul Wallersheim from Greendale Martin Luther. Tip-off for the first state semifinal in Division 5 is just minutes away. Stay with us all day on My 24 for great high school basketball action. Later this evening, Division 1 semifinals get underway. Tip-off at 6:30 as Wisconsin Lutheran takes on Oshkosh North, followed by Waunakee taking on Marshfield. Coach, let's look at the Waunakee-Marshfield matchup. The number 2 ranked Waunakee Warriors are 23-5 overall, tied for first place in the Badger Large Conference. Waunakee is coached by Tyler Selk. He's a second-year coach at Waunakee. Talks a little bit about what they learned the first time they played Marshfield in January.
I think we are 28 games in right now, and there's not a team that we played that kicked our butt on the glass like Marshfield did in mid-January. So we're certainly aware of their size and strength and physicality, and between them and Spash, we've had the opportunity to play some teams from the Valley, and we know that it's a physical brand of basketball in that league, and that their kids are hard-nosed, and they all play the Dick Bennett brand, and they guard you, and we'll be ready for a war on Friday night for sure.
You know, Coach, with some of the teams that we talked about today, you're led by somebody averaging 35 or 30 or 20. When you look at Waunakee, they have one player averaging 10, and then 3 players averaging 7 or 6. So offensively, now they're not putting up 100, but defensively, they're really getting after it. And I think Coach Selk, in that interview, talked a little bit about defensively, how they really make things very difficult. And you're going to have to do that against a really good Marshfield team.
I mean, that plays into it. They're 23-5. Their 5 losses were all close games. They were by 5 points or less. All five of their losses. So they're in every game. Doesn't matter who they're playing, how good a team they're playing. And so the matchup against Marshfield is a good one because it's a physical, strong team, talented team, and Waunakee is used to playing that style of ball.
Yeah, no doubt. It's looking forward to this game. They're going to, like you said, Marshfield, 22-6 overall, undefeated in the Wisconsin Valley Conference, and won it for the 4th straight year. Marshfield is coached by Chris Fisher in his 5th year as the head coach. And Coach Fisher talks about Brooks Hinson, senior leader on this team, and what he has meant to this program.
I don't want to get too emotional here because Brooks Hinson has meant a lot to me, and he's meant a lot to our program. I can remember the first time I watched him play as a 5th grader in our youth program, and just seeing how he competed at that young of an age, and how skilled he was from that young of an age, and how he's just improved every year and every day. And he's the epitome of what you want in a student athlete. He doesn't get to where he's at in terms of his skill level just by doing the activities that we ask him to do, just by doing our practices in our open gyms. The kid's a tireless worker, a tremendous player, offensively skilled, a phenomenal defensive player, plays both ends of the floor. He never gets tired. He's the most accomplished player in the history of our program. 4 conference championships, a 4-year starter, multiple school records, all-time leading scorer, all-time leading rebounder. I don't think it's not a stretch for me to say that he's the most talented player in the history of our program. He's the best to ever do it. He's the best to ever put on a Marshfield Tiger jersey, without a doubt.
I really enjoyed the interview with Chris, and for him to talk about this player, and he talked about his team. And he said, look, we have got some basketball players, some tough kids, but this is the kid that makes us go, that we look to make the right play, make the right pass, hit the big shot, and you can tell how much he's going to miss him when he graduates.
It's so great that, because not every player, a lot of coaches have had players like this. you know, you watch them from 3rd grade or 4th grade or 5th grade, and they've come through the system and they work harder than everybody else, and they're at home watching the state tournament. To be able to have a fairy tale ending for a player who really deserves it, and for him to bring him and the coach to bring the program up there with the rest of the players, it's just great to see it. And you can see that's why we do this. That's as coaches, to bring kids along and to see the emotion of him talking about this player and his team. It's awesome.
Coach Fisher talked about the kind of feeling the pressure. They've won 4 conference championships, but to get him to get to state, to have a kid like Brooks Henson get on at the Kohl Center, get on that floor to represent his family and his school and his community. And when he talks about him being the best player in the history of our school and our program, says a lot. If you heard him, he also said, look, he is a true student athlete, and he's about a 3-6 student, a multi-sport athlete that does a lot of things for that community. And Coach Fisher talked about feeling a little pressure on being able to get him to a state tournament. Hey, Coach, this has been great. I really appreciate your time coming in and doing this again with me this year. It's always good to see you. Thanks for your insight in this.
Thanks for having me. Love doing it. It's a blessing.
Hey, I want to thank Kern Electric, home of the superhero. I want to thank Cannon and Dunphy for believing in a show like this and grassroots marketing, and to be able to highlight, promote, and celebrate these student athletes. Stay with My 24 all day long. Great high school basketball boys state action all day long, and again tomorrow. And you can see state finals here on My 24 tomorrow. This has been the Kern Electric High School Basketball Boys State Championship Preview Show, presented by Cannon and Dunphy, only on My 24.